Good afternoon again. Friday, April 3rd. We're going to do our writing lesson, but before we do, I have a shout out. Thank you to everyone who's been sending me work and everything. Also, feel free to send me things that aren't necessarily assigned. I love seeing what the kids are doing when I'm, away from them. So Naori actually, her mother sent me a couple of writing things that she's been doing here. So the one is I'm going to share is about her family. So she's writing it there in a composition notebook. All right. And you see her web that she did her brainstorming up top there. So it says, "My name is Maori and I am 6 years old. My dad is Rob. My dog name is Lola. My sister's name is Matana. My mom's name is Leslie." Excellent paragraph about Maori's family. And I see at the top in her web that after she wrote about someone, that she crossed off their name to know that she already wrote about them. Great job. Something else she sent me. So she did a web at the top about, I can tell her main topic is games, right? Because I see that in the middle there. That's her main topic. So I know when I read, before I see anything else, that she's going to be telling me all about games that she likes. And then out from the games, she put her key details, different games that she likes. So let's see. It says, "I like video games because I can play on TV. I like board games because they have tiny pieces. I like phone games because I can download them." Excellent job, Maori, telling about the games that you like. So you can do that with any topic. Just create a web, put the main topic in the middle, what you're going to write about, and then out from the web, put key details to tell a little bit more detail about your topic. And one more writing piece. So it looks like Maori was studying about planets. So the topic I see someone wrote for her says, "My favorite planet." And then they gave Maori some questions to do. So why do you like the planet? How many planets in the solar system? How many dwarf planets? And then can you name the dwarf planets? Now, I have already looked through this, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea how to say some of these dwarf planets, so I'm going to try my best. So Maori wrote, "My favorite planet is Neptune. I like the planet because it is cold. There are 8 planets. There are 5 dwarf planets: Ceres, Pluto, Haumea, Makemake, and Eris." And like I said, I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing those dwarf planets right. I'm going to be honest, and the only dwarf planet that I knew about was Pluto, right? And excellent job, Maori. I love seeing what you guys are doing. I also want to show you guys an idea that Kasaira's mom sent me for doing a word wall. So she got a trifold board, and she's like putting her Post-its for her words in the middle there. And I can see off to the side over here that she did like color words, right? So just an idea of how you could do your word wall at home. So excellent job. Love it, you guys. Love it. All right. So for our writing today, I'm just going to kind of give you an idea of what you can work on. And then if you decide to do that and send it to me, we can do a private video conference, or I can make a video for you until we get into the whole Google Meet and learn how to use that and everything. I'll make a video. I'll post it to either the dojo just for you to see, for you and your parents, or I'll post it to your Google Drive folder to see like the feedback that I've given. And depending on where you go with this writing and everything, it may require, I'd love to have like a writing conference with you so we can talk to one another about what you're doing, and I can give you feedback that way. So that's coming. We're working on getting that up and running next week during our spring break. So let's see. So where we left off was making a list of materials or ingredients. Ingredients you're really going to use mostly for recipes, right? So I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If I were making jelly, if that was what I was going to do, like making homemade strawberry jelly, which is something my sister and I actually do in the summertime, then I would write what I need under ingredients because I'd be writing a recipe. But I'm not writing a recipe. I'm writing how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So what I did to get ready for this lesson is I just took some construction paper that I have at my house and I cut it in half, all right, just to make me make some pieces to help me organize here. So I am going to number them. I don't know how many steps I'm going to need yet. So for right now, I'm just going to take these pieces of paper and I'm just going to number them with a marker or pencil, pen, whatever you have. So I'm going to do, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and who knows, I might end up needing more than this. 5, 6. So I'm doing this because when I write, I need organization, you know. I need, I can't just sit down and write a paragraph or write sentences. Like, I need to think about it first. I need to organize it first. So in my how-to paragraph, I thought about my transition words I was going to use. I made a list of possible things I could teach others to do, things that I'm an expert on. I decided that I wanted to talk about my peanut butter and jelly sandwich and making that. And so once I made my decision, then I made a list of materials, what I'm going to need. Okay, so now what I'm going to do with these pieces of paper that I just numbered is I'm going to just start writing down some notes of what my steps are, what I'm going to go through. So I'm not using this right here, so I'm just going to cover this up so I have some space here. So first, let's see. If I'm making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, the first thing I'm going to do is gather all of my materials. I'm just going to write gather materials. I don't need to relist my materials because when I set up my final paper, I'm going to have at the top, you know, how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So it might look something like this. I'll show you. Okay. So up here is going to be like how, this is just what I'm thinking in my head, how to, and then I'll finish writing make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then I'm going to list, you know, my materials. All right. So I might list all of my materials here that I would need. Okay. And then I would go down here and I would label this steps. Or you could say procedure, what you're going to go through to do it. And then in my steps, I could number my steps, right? And then I could write first, I will gather my materials. Second, I will. Then I will do this. Next, I will do this. Finally, and so on. So this is what my final copy is going to look like for my how-to paragraph. Does yours have to look exactly like that? No. But as this is the way my brain organizes my writing, and this is for me how I'm thinking of setting my paper up. So my first step, I'm going to think gather materials. Okay. Let's see. After I gather my materials, okay. So gather materials. Again, I already have them here. I don't need to say them again right here, right? And even when I write first, I'll gather my materials. I don't need to talk about them again here because they're all going to be listed here, and the reader can just look up and see what those materials are. So my second step, so I gather my materials. So spread, and I'm abbreviating right now. When I write this out on my final copy, I'm going to write out the words peanut butter. I'm just abbreviating right now because I'm just making notes to organize myself, right? So spread peanut butter on both slices of bread. Now, you might say, Mrs. Hill, when I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I put peanut butter on one side and jelly on the other. Fine, that's how you make it. I make it by putting peanut butter on both sides of the bread so that the jelly doesn't soak through the bread. Because normally when I make these sandwiches, when we were going to school, Dylan's lunch would be packed and sitting in the refrigerator all day. And I found that the jelly would start to soak through the one side of the bread. So I put peanut butter on both sides so that the jelly stays in place and doesn't leak through the bread. So I spread peanut butter on both sides. Okay. So spread peanut butter on both sides. Oh, and you know what else I might say there? Spread peanut butter on both sides of bread with the knife, right? Because I mentioned that I'm going to be using a knife, Okay, so I mentioned my bread. I didn't say 2 slices, but I said both slices. Both means that you're talking about 2, right? And then also when I come down here, I'll put 2 pieces of bread. Okay, so I mentioned my bread. I mentioned my peanut butter. I mentioned my knife. Okay. And then, so my third step, I need to mention my cutting board, right? I didn't mention my cutting board yet. So what I might do, gather materials. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to switch something up here. And again, this is why I like to do this, because if I just sat down and started writing, I would have to erase a bunch right now and go back, because I'm thinking that this should be step 2. And now that this should be step 3, right? Gather materials. I'm going to put lay 2 pieces of bread on cutting board. Okay, so there. Now I have my cutting board. Forgot about that. Okay, 3, and then 4 would be gather materials, lay 2 pieces of bread on the cutting board, spread peanut butter on both sides of the bread with a knife, spread jelly on 1 piece of bread. Okay, 5. Spread jelly on 1 piece of bread. Okay. Put pieces together and cut in half. And finally, my 6th step, I would say, jelly we used, plate. Serve sandwich on a plate. Okay. I might even add step 7 that says enjoy the sandwich. Now notice that I have 6 steps and I only have 5 transition words over here, which means I'm going to have to add in another transition word, right? So this could be first, second, I could do then, or I could do third, then, next. I'm going to use after that. So in here, I'm going to write after that. Okay? So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 transition words. Okay. Now, my final step then would be to take this and create that final copy, right? So, what I'm going to say, leave, totally optional. If you want to get to this part where you kind of have notes about what you want to do, you have your materials mapped out, send me pictures of that. And then we can create a conference or something to meet up next week and talk about your writing, where you're planning on going from there, and if you need any help with anything. Okay. So, I guess this is our last lesson till Monday morning read aloud. I am going to continue to do read alouds next week, but other than that, it will just be trying to get everyone help with setting up Google Classroom, making sure you can access everything, making sure everything makes sense. And yeah, so we'll see you Monday morning for read aloud. Have a great weekend.